Voyager is not any of the normal servant roles. He's he's like traveler or something. Some weird.
Aren't they sabers or something stupid?
No.
Who cares? Honestly.
I care.
I do. He's my son.
He's not your son. You're not related to him.
You don't know that.
I do. Oh wait, whoops. I was tabbed out typing something and doing things to obs. Alright.
Oh, Voyager is a foreigner.
That's...
What does that even mean, though?
I
It still doesn't make sense, even within like the context.
They
of,
don't... I mean, none of the...
They just made up new
They
roles.
just made up stuff, yeah.
So is it like a game
Yeah.
mechanic rule then,
Yeah.
and it's not actually
Well,
like lore rule?
I think it's like
mean, it made it
Pokemon.
more.
I think it's like Pokemon cards where like, you know, you can just rate whatever weakness and strength on the
Oh,
card.
Oh, Pokemon has real weakness and strengths.
Yeah. Okay.
They just
but you
changed all
can-
the
Make it
types.
up.
But you can customize it for specific Pokemon. Like, there's grass types that aren't weak to fire.
Yeah.
and are weak to something else
also,
instead.
they have fate moves too.
Yeah.
So
Fate,
it's
Fate's
literally
like that,
anything goes.
basically, yeah. Except with waifus and husbandos. I'm pretty sure Q-Sod is the Fujoshi is Fujoshi bait.
Okay, we all ready?
I guess so. Let me open the thing
Yeah,
to look
get
at
the
the
thing.
mobs. I'm not
Oh,
worried
yeah,
about
me too.
anything else, but
There's my son.
do we even need to worry about the mobs? We're
Wait,
just
this
gonna
guy
crush
looks like
them.
a Genshin character, like
Plus
unironically.
30 power?
Basically is,
I've-
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, he legit. I think
Genshin just
think
copied
Genshin just-
Fate Stay Night anyway.
Genshin just got a character like that. I think Mal linked me to this one kid, and that kid looks like this kid. Maybe, or maybe I'm being
Maybe.
racist.
Nothing personnel, kid.
Maybe I'm being racist.
Oh
Okay.
god, all the mobs look the same!
Okay, on the last floors, it's basically there's two chimeras. There's the regular chimera, and then there's a the system Y is also a chimera. So basically, like rings
And silent high voltage.
Silent high voltage, yeah. Ortho drones explode when you kill them. There's minotaurs. There's like everything. It's like a lot of the same stuff, but we just pull it one by one, so we don't die.
Yeah. Alright.
Your screen is mega bright.
Yeah, it's because it's on my. 1 second. Is this fixed?
Oh, I'll send Kay
Is
a
that
picture
fixed?
of my son as well.
That's fixed, right?
If we do clear, will this be world record for worst like plus
Score?
bonuses in
Nah.
Eureka?
Nah. I'm sure the people who beat it the first day literally probably had even worse. Because they probably just went giga turbo fast and
Yeah, I
not picked
guess
up
so.
chests. Yeah. Okay. Let's go, I guess.
Finish him.
Oh, it's a Shota.
Yeah.
It's a Shota.
It
Yep.
did? Yeah. Literally. it
Yeah,
did.
that's
Literally a Shota.
yeah. There's 4 categories of characters in Fate. You've got you know, Shota, Lolly, Booba, and Hunky. That's the four categories of man.
Yeah.
Wait, what's a donkey? Somebody buff?
Wait, what?
What?
What did you?
I
what
did
was
say
the last-
donkey. Hunky.
Hunky.
Oh,
Hunky.
hunky.
Oh, how guys, on me.
Do you want me to just pull him?
No, there's 2 of them.
There's 2 of them.
Oh yeah, you gotta be careful. Sometimes
where's-
there's like 6 of them crossing at the same
Yeah,
time.
we got owned. Yeah. We didn't get owned, but there was one dungeon or one floor
Don't
where it
pull
was
yet.
just like
Just wait for this guy to cross the bridge and then we'll burst it. And remember, treat it like a chimera. Line up with it. Go.
Pull him?
Yeah. Silent.
what? I just used
You
a
sure me.
What?
I sure. That's where my silence goes.
It's okay, I got him.
I can rebind it. I can rebind it.
I used a
Take
potion
second.
too, so you're welcome.
1 second.
All right, I've got my silence back over Shirk.
We'll get the We'll chase down the. Where did he go?
He went that way.
He's in this room. Let's kill it.
Oh, you coming?
Let's go back.
We want to pop intuitions, right?
Oh yeah. I'll do it.
All right, I pulled. Hold our
Same thing. Interrupt. Remember, ring is in, repel is out, right? And go map. Oh, one behind us. Does anyone have
Pulling.
who has interrupt? Oh,
I do not.
I got.
5 seconds.
6.
I got it. I got it.
oh, fucking poking.
I just,
Yeah, yeah. So watch when you pull multiple of these because you need interrupt.
yeah.
This way. I didn't think that the key room wasn't in there, right? I don't think so.
It wasn't obvious if it was.
Someone open up that chest.
Okay.
Alteration. Okay, move on. I didn't want to open it.
Do you want me to open
Key
this?
rooms are here. Yeah, let's open that. Key rooms are here.
Oh,
So you can pull the ortho drone and fight it near the wall. And when this dies, it explodes, so you have to get out of melee.
Oh, there's another ortho drone coming through.
Yeah, kill this guy.
Oh, it's going the other way.
Okay. Out, guys.
Oh.
This guy popped all over.
Scared. Alright, I guess I'll grab a
Drone?
mining drone.
Yeah. It does knockbacks, I believe, and then half
Yeah.
room, so get behind it. Ow.
Oh, it
Yeah.
ow!
Get
Does
behind,
it on
get
everyone.
behind. You can stop the knockbacks if you pop the knockback.
Oh, it can also be stunned. It's the
Let's,
ball? Where'd the ball go? He's still
Pull
gone.
the car. Pull the
Yep.
car. Let's clear out this room. You remember? Face the wall. Get knockback. Get behind.
Behind.
Psych!
The ball's on its way back.
Is he just moving slowly at us? Did he just walk up slowly? Alright, I'm gonna
You want to get
pull-
interrupt Q?
Yeah, I got it.
Watch next cast. Repel out. Ring in.
Ring fit.
Are you guys gonna get the new fitness key?
You guys,
The King of the North Star.
you guys are asking. You are asking the wrong set of nerds.
Are we gonna get what?
There's
King of the North Star.
No, there's like a what is it again? I forgot already.
It's just some new
Drone.
fitness game. I don't remember what
Oh,
it's
but what was
called.
the sport?
It's not really a sport. It's just general exercise.
Behind?
Find it.
Behind? Oh, we can fight these bombs. That's easy enough.
Hopefully this will be the last one, right?
So, doubt it. We need one more.
Drone.
That is flying. Stop.
Do you want me to go check that chest? After we kill?
Yeah, sure.
Get out.
I'll alteration, of course. We need to kill another one.
Oh.
Oh, nope, never mind.
Oh, it doesn't
The
count as
delay,
dead,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget that.
Fitness circuit.
Fitness circuit.
I played a lot of Ring Fit. Oh great, I will be
We are
blind.
blinded.
There's orb coming at us already.
My friend called the dragon a furry, and then I couldn't unsee it.
No,
and I couldn't
yeah.
do it anymore.
Oh, the horde is
coming
over
this
that
way?
way. Yeah, it is.
There's two.
Do you see another?
Incoming. Yeah, straight ahead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're
Endless
blinded.
balls.
Balls passing in the night.
Balls, 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 balls.
So we'll probably end up getting this one first.
Ooh, a cursed horde.
Yeah.
Alright, want me to
Okay,
pull
let's
it?
pull this one. Yeah, let's go.
You getting the interrupt queue?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Doga got it.
Easy.
I think we know which way we're going. Safety.
No, we gotta catch this ball before it comes back for
Okay.
us. Yeah, we'll catch the ball.
Can't have Butterfingers.
I will pull it. You guys have interrupt, yeah?
Yeah. Petrolized. I love being blinded.
Voltage. Skip the chest. That's
What the horde? Oh, ball. Coming.
You have silence? Anyone?
Anyone?
Yeah.
Anyone? Yes.
No, I'm
Silence.
done with this.
Okay. Even though it gets petrified, you still have it. Maybe you won't get petrified. So those eggs are exactly like the eggs in the other boss. It does a cone. So you just have to get behind. Yeah. We can pull that one. Get behind. See, sometimes when there's no position, I forget that, like, when I look for get behind, I look for, like, the empty part of the
Yeah.
ring.
Yeah.
But this one has no positional.
Bomb?
I think we're gonna have to, yeah, pull because it's proxy, I think.
Doga. Carry.
Was this the fortune? Why did I spend it? Out of melee? Oh.
Ortho.
Get behind.
I love my combos getting done. It's my favorite thing in the whole world.
Is the key room in here?
Doesn't-
Yeah, it is.
You see it?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it is way out there.
Let's pull the systems A. Okay. Get behind.
The first combo I actually get to finish and I miss my spell.
Hug wall.
Suck it, drone. Great.
Again?
There's a Minotaur coming, it looks like. And a ball.
Okay, yeah, hug wall. Let me just read the Minotaur real quick. I forget the order. Minotaur. Orthotor. So it does a swipe, dash, then
Uh,
swing.
There's a ball coming from every single one.
Yeah.
Balls, 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 balls.
Just have to wait here a while.
So the Minotaurs, it's a dash and then pancake, and then swipe is a cone. So just pay attention.
What do you want me to grab? The Minotaur?
Did everyone pass? Let's grab the Minotaur. Yeah. Just pay attention.
Swipe.
Cone away from front. It's gonna dash and then pancake. Cone dash pancake every time. And respect the pancake.
It's dashed.
It's like out, 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 out.
I can't hit these mobs. God dang.
Where does the egg go? Or the ball? Oh no, okay. I think
One-
2 of the balls are coming back.
Yeah, 2 of
Where
them are
didn't
coming
the balls
back.
go?
I don't know where
Just,
the
I'm just
other-
checking this room real quick. Nothing. Okay. Well, we gotta wait for the ball.
There should be a third ball somewhere. It went off to the
Yeah, it
that way.
went down there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll grab
It's
it.
actually on its way back.
Oh, is it?
So we'll see when these turn, we can fight the one that's incoming.
Yeah, there's the third ball.
Turn left and right. Sure.
Is there a raid wide happening in that other room? Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Yes,
those
that
cats.
one doesn't.
Yeah, that one is a AoE. I don't remember if it one kills. I've never seen it hit us. We can pull this one here.
Okay.
I got this one.
We're gonna go chase the one that's going to the dead end, and then we'll continue to the
Makes sense.
slowest one there. Who has interrupt?
Me.
I do.
Okay.
Alright, Talon, you get this one, I'll save. I guess Q's will be back up too.
Yeah, mine's up again.
Watch the cast. If it happens, which it probably should. Let's go blinded.
I love being blind, I love being blind. Minotaur.
Minotaur's coming?
Yep.
Yeah, he just spawned in, it looked like.
The fuck? Alright, well let's fight it.
Alright.
Where did the other egg go?
It's somewhere, but I guess it's slow enough
I
that
think he went down the other
Remember,
path.
it's cone, dash, pancake. Fine.
the
Watch
dash is delayed.
Ow.
Dashed.
Where did it go?
Oh, I see the ending. It's that
Yeah,
way.
it's right
It
over
must be
there.
in there. Do you want me to pull
let's
this
check.
Agnol?
Yeah.
What does it do
Little
normally?
jump. Knocks people back. Away from Q. Ooh.
Why can't this guy be the stunt?
Alright, let's keep going. Oh, there's the ball.
Nice.
You guys have interrupt?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see why it's so far. That one has another-
The Horde! I love it when my Confeteor misses. It feels like gameplay.
Golden arrow.
Woo. Okay, try to sneak it. You might pull the thing though, because I think it's proxy. Almost certain it's proxy.
Yep.
Watch the line. Oh, there's another egg coming in. Out. Let's try to sneak past it. Just hug this wall. Sprint and hug this wall. Don't go for the horde yet, just wait a little bit. Okay. Bitch. Alright, watch, patrol.
Ooh.
We're
No!
in a dead end.
Wow.
Is that a
Oh.
treasure room? Does
Cringe.
blind affect,
Ooh, this is mega cringe.
okay, yeah, 1 second.
50 sphinxes.
Sphinx? What does Sphinx do?
Trying to find it. It large frontal cone. and-
Swinge and gaze.
Okay, yeah, pull one. Pull one to the edge.
Yeah, yeah. Because we have
Swinge and gaze. Look away,
Gaze.
do not bleed. Get behind.
Swinge.
oh, it's very narrow switch.
There's a fucking cat.
Be careful of the cat, it's a one-shotter.
I'll pull the cat.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah. Yep. Wall.
That was me.
Alright, we got patrols incoming. Two big boys.
2 minotaurs, huh?
There's one behind him too.
Alright,
Yeah.
we're just hugging the wall. Man, it's so cringe.
Exciting
We're going-
gameplay.
Okay, starting next floor, we can start using a bunch of our stuff, actually. Like we started
So
using-
anyway, I started popping.
Now, is there any reason to save the intuition?
Did we find one on this room?
Yeah, we found one last.
We found one
floor.
last round.
Okay, then we just use one on this floor.
What's that?
Maybe we should just pop a lethargy, actually. We're gonna have to, like, 1, 2... No, we should save it. We'll pull the one behind after this one, please.
Mhm.
So remember cone, dash, pancake.
Cone.
He's not even gonna get a chance.
Okay, let's pull this guy. I'll pull him.
Hey, we can actually kill them when we're not blind.
Cone.
Cone.
And then there's another Minotaur that'll be hopefully ready.
Out.
Dash. Out. Whoops. I just popped all my socks.
Classic.
Furious.
Alright, I'm grabbing the next Minotaur.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Everything's fine
Concerned.
and normal.
Cone. Oh,
Shit.
yikes.
Oh, I'm fucking right in it.
Yeah.
I could tell. I thought he was
Yeah, I couldn't see what way he was turned. Yeah,
Well,
I should have run forward.
well,
to him.
he's gonna face somebody.
Out. Should just be prepared.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I should have dashed to him. You're right.
Boop, 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 boop.
watch your cast, guys.
There's a ball coming, but you should have time to res. I'll give some eels while. Oh, these guys are so squishy, they only need one eel anyway. Even for me.
Okay, let's go.
What are your guys' ether pools at?
35-32 for me.
36-30.
33,
Got it.
33.
A whopping 1/3 of the maximum. Basically swole.
Alright, fucking done with patrols. Let's get out of here. Jesus Christ.
Didn't the Minotaur escape?
No.
No, we fixed it. Here's a key room. Let's see if there's a easy quest.
This room looks, yeah.
So
Free.
Let's pick up this chest first. Don't pull it.
Okay.
Okay, pull it. Remember, gaze and swing. Watch where you're positioning.
Gaze.
Away. Probably get behind.
Binge.
Maybe it's better to like get the clone fight near the middle of the
Yeah.
hallways.
You guys could just, you know, stand up here.
Good job, Boone.
Get us out of here! Looks like patrolling Chimera.
Careful, the diagonal.
What?
The diagonal.
Oh yeah, we want to. Yeah, let's just.
Minotaur,
there's Minotaur,
and Chimera,
Yeah.
and another Chimera.
Let's just see where they turn. We can always hug this wall.
Yeah.
And if it gets really bad, we can just storm them all. There are, two of them are walking straight.
Yep,
and is it just
Minotaur.
three?
Yeah, Minotaur
Yeah,
by
yeah,
himself.
Like, yep, let's go 7. It's lethargic, by the way. Everything's lethargic.
Oh.
Watch your positioning.
Swipe.
Touch constant. Mother bits don't really do anything, I think. But it's like a an untelegraphed line, maybe. So if it turns, just move to the side. Chimera's incoming.
What does the Chimera do?
In, out, and what are the breaths? The front or the
Dragon's breath is left.
Yeah, I'm
Ice
gonna-
is
I'm
right.
grabbing.
The
So you just go
voices
opposite
in
the
them.
heads.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. That makes
Voices
sense.
donut, yeah.
Out, 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 out. I am lagging or something. Or you guys
It's
aren't moving.
lethargic and
No, I'm teammates. Get behind
Ice.
it. Just get behind it. Yeah. Any of the breath or invoking this is behind. I'll pull this Chimera in.
Okay. Yeah.
Watch the cast in. Quick instinct, get out.
gave you permission to have a bat cone.
Okay, let's pull this cat.
Zagnol? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Beastly War has an 8-hour cast time.
Remember, if you get the marker, just move away from the party.
Did that slow down their auto attacks too? Or did it hit?
I have no idea. We might have to pull this. I think this is.
Yeah. All right, we'll just grab it.
If it looks at you, move to the side. Gotta stay on telegraph so you can see. It's a lot faster than that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There's Chimera on this hallway. There's 2 of them. There's one on the other side too. We can just fight this one here. We'll kill it in time.
Okay. He's pulled.
Protect the cast. Ram
Out.
goes out. Watch the next cast.
Ice
Get
behind.
behind.
Next one.
Yeah, that's
Chimera.
what we do, yep. Watch the cast. In.
Good.
Behind, get
Back?
behind, or get
Back on?
away from behind. Yeah.
Do you want to check the dead end first?
Yeah, I'm gonna check down there. You can see it from the bridge normally. It doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Oh, stupid. That was me.
Yikes.
I was spelling pretty.
You just let him die.
Kill. Kill, kill, kill.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's guys. Oh, cool.
Yep, that was my fault. Nope, I know.
What do you mean you were following Pretty? Pretty didn't hit the trap.
Yeah, I was just walking forward.
Oh, we gotta pull this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got him. Checking. It's fortunate.
Dude, it's all the way down there, man. What the fuck?
I guess I'll grab this mother bit.
Yeah, let's go the other way.
Hopefully the
Kill
other one
this tombstone immediately.
turns around. But it's in a tombstone of comedy.
They should play that sound effect every time you pick one up.
Nah.
That's
Move.
He's in
It's a
this
bit
room,
too much
right?
comedy,
Oh,
Keel.
right there, yeah. Oh, dude, what the fuck is this shit?
You shouldn't die now.
Let's look up Mithridates or Sight. So great. Alright, I guess
Yeah,
I'll pull
there's a
one.
gap behind it though.
Oh. Alright.
Okay, pull one. Yeah,
yeah,
pull,
pull
the
one.
Pull the dual, yeah. Get behind. Get behind completely.
Anti-pizza.
Get the cat.
Okay.
What would you even call that? Imperfect pie?
What?
A backwards pie.
Pizza, but it's an incomplete pie?
You get away. Oh god.
Or maybe
Yeah,
instead
that's
of anti-pizza, it's an anti-slice. It's a better term. These Mithridates keep looking at it! Alright, next. Next.
Well, we probably don't have to pull this last one. We'll probably turn in time.
I hope so.
Get behind.
Oh, that's right.
We need a dark mode Mithridates.
Did we try this cop already? Maybe.
Get behind.
He's facing, yeah, the wall.
You're gonna pull your Mithrid Hades and like it.
So we'll have 2 fish street for sort of 90 or 90.
Oh, Sanic.
Treasure.
Oh, another Demi clone.
The Horde calls.
Alright, let's go.
Okay.
We
Oh,
just punch out everything. Respect traps.
oh, cause auto heal is yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
Someone want to use a strike?
Oh, I will.
Keep going, you can keep going. You don't have to wait.
yeah.
It's free. Everything is free. Just be careful of the AoEs.
Something just yo-lied.
My range is poop.
I'll follow you, Evan.
Okay, just keep going.
Yeah, there's an
Be careful when
aggressive.
you're
horde.
opening chests though, because of
Mimic.
Oh, there's
damage,
there's
yeah.
the horde. It's on the critical path.
I can see traps.
what is this?
Commander of Flight.
Is a silver chest somewhere? Open it. Right here.
Where? Oh. You guys got scammed.
I just listened to Pretty, and that's what happens.
Yep. And watch out when you kill those ones, hey?
Yeah.
Alright, let's go in. Wait, what? Oh,
What?
oh.
It's exploding.
I just
Okay.
had, yeah.
Yeah, the last, like, it's a little bit slow at the beginning, but these last floors, it's so great. Now we can just, like, storm or,
Pop it like it's hot. Nice.
build a duplicate.
You gonna hit the intuition again?
We got
There's
incoming,
a-
incoming,
there's
incoming.
1 second.
The Horde calls.
Wow, you guys are so lucky.
Hello?
Prinny is a robot. Oh, okay. Which one is that? Which one is that called?
Dread, this is Dread.
There's another one in our behind. Well, okay.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, that's a dead end, that's right here.
It's a dead end and the thing.
No.
So we'll
I'll
just
just go kill stuff. I have
Yep.
40 seconds left. Just don't randomly kill stuff.
yeah.
And respect traps.
Dreads aren't
Or
useful on
use
bosses.
a sight. Someone use a sight.
Sight. Which one is sight? Oh, here it is.
They are very useful on bosses because there is the second move that applies bonk. Holy
Okay,
shit.
yeah. So it's the
Did you watch him delete that?
No, look at his room.
Oh my god!
I can heal you, Prinny, if you need it.
Look away, Gaze.
Watch out for that body.
Bomb. Out.
Yeah,
What is that? What a bronze?
Yeah,
What's in between? Okay, we're just gonna leave. We're just gonna leave.
Yeah.
We're done here.
makes sense.
What is this?
Oh, the Horde is here somewhere too.
Oh, the horde is? Oh fuck, we didn't find it, did we? Oh man, we actually have to.
That's okay.
Yeah, you want to leave without it? It could be the mount.
No. I mean, saying it's okay to get it. Get it.
Oh,
I'm pulling the Chimera.
sure. I lethargy. Set the cast in. Oh, we have a dome now.
Is this the heroes feast or whatever the frick that? thing's
Hero's
called?
Gauntlet, yeah.
Oh god.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, we're separated. Well.
Oh, and this is an 8-year cast too.
Okay.
Come over.
He got
petrified?
petrified anyway. Yeah.
You're up.
No.
Okay, the horde is right there.
Your sandwich by critters, be careful.
He's the last one. Kill it.
What do these guys do?
Look away.
Gaze?
Well, you can respect the cast bar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's the opposite of respecting the content.
I look away. Okay. All right.
All right. Well,
Oh, that was good.
Deleted.
Ah! Another one.
Want someone use one just in case we pull something?
Sure.
Doga is the green one.
Do you want me to use a Doga
Use
or
it.
an Une?
No, no, that's okay. Yeah, we're good.
Oh, nice. Another fragment spawned under my feet.
Let's just try to sneak past these guys.
Yeah, we should be able to.
You guys are really lucky with those fragments.
Yeah, I'm
We
up
were
to
this lucky. We got so many on ours.
I'm up to 4 already.
You've got that many.
Remember when I got like 5 in a row?
Yeah, just you.
Yeah.
The mount
well,
is
it
10, right?
The mount? No. The
no.
framer kit is 10.
Framer kit.
Oh.
The mount is 4 clears of this.
Oh, there's no. It's just framer kit from the Aether pool.
Yeah.
Lame.
Yeah, it is a little bit lame.
Framer kit and potions if you wanted to try to do it solo or whatever.
What was this? Whatever makes our next floor easier.
Yep. Next floor's the last real floor,
Oh,
right?
last floor, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we could have probably used a few more pull members early on, but whatever.
Oh, good. You just gonna dread it again?
Yeah, we
knockback.
might. We'll see how big this floor is.
Dread Beast.
Oh, knockback disabled. Oh, Serenity?
Oh, knockback means. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Chimera coming. I guess we want to see what the
whoa.
dread beast is.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll let those cast first. And then I'll dread if they come down this hallway.
Okay.
Yeah, see those guys cast. I don't want to walk in and try to
Yeah.
kill them both.
Fortune F smiles upon you, possibly?
Possibly.
What the fuck? You see that?
Yeah.
He said no.
I'm outie. Lolly's outie.
Watch the trap.
We're gonna make it in time before the spec cast. Oh, and there's a dread beast, baby.
Is it the? Oh, it's a Kakma. Still good.
Yeah. Okay, give me a sec. Pull and run?
Yep.
Pull and just run down this bridge. Someone hit it. Someone hit it.
Lobby.
Any questions for the thing, for the boss?
No, it seems pretty straightforward.
Let's check this silver chest real quick, actually.
Okay.
In case it's a
Oh yeah, Union Knight.
Or no, yeah, that'd be nice too.
I'll
yeah.
take it.
Okay. No questions at all?
Nope.
I will
for me.
try my best to call
Sir?
it, but basically there's gonna be 2 instances where you have to change your colors. One will be the half rooms, and you have to watch the boss. And then the second time will be the knives around the arena. And the knives are like the Heidelin knives, if you remember that.
Yep, or the Innocence Knives.
Alright,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna pop a strength.
One second, don't pop anything yet. Let's just put down some markers.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
Pop food.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat a food.
DPS use strength.
Yeah, we also have Vuln down, which is nice.
I will use a strength. I will also use a steel. Ivan, you want to use a steel?
Okay.
And
Do we want somebody to use a dread?
I will. I will.
Okay.
I'll
And
be
the-
sending-
Yeah,
I
who's...
will use the Onion Knight.
Yeah.
Ivan used Une,
Okay.
and one of the DPS can use Doga.
I'll grab Doga.
Okay, do a countdown. 10.
Alright. Countdown 10. Done.
And just do your best to do the mechanics. Oh, this thing, Wrecking Ball is down. What was the AoE called again that we missed?
From here?
Yeah,
Remember, you want to be ops the pit.
Yeah, opposite.
opposite. Get behind. Never stand in front during that. Later on, it does 3 of them, so just be wary. Half room. Opposite element. Okay,
I'm just gonna pull him back center. He'll probably jump, but just in case. Yeah.
okay, so it'll be, what is it, in or out, plus red floor or green floor. It is out. And then watch the floor pattern. You gotta move it. Okay, next mechanic. Get behind dish, not stay behind. Oh yeah, stay behind. Always stay behind.
Debuffs
So
going
he's
out.
gonna do an element here. And then pay attention to what he casts. So you want to be ice, okay? You want to be ice. If you already have ice, don't get hit.
Out.
Out. Watch the floor.
What?
Nuts.
Yeah, he
I
just
was
hurts.
taking one shot.
Same.
Flame is a 3-to-1 dodge, so just dodge the fire zone. Doesn't matter where you dodge.
Yeah, it's the lady.
Yeah, just dodge. Dodge into 6 spots. Drop rotation if you have to.
Oh, I was out of it.
Half room?
Half rim.
Watch
Remember,
your
we're
element.
fire. Yeah.
Get behind.
Out rim.
Swords. We're gonna kill.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
Woohoo! Yeah, he goes so fast with the Onion Knight plus
The Onion
Vuln.
Knight, the Doga, yeah.
Oh, and Doga, yeah.
And we had Une too, yeah. It's a lot of damage.
I am no
Yeah,
flagged
third.
Leon. Dude, you're way stronger than Flegel thought. I'm sorry to say, bro.
I like his arm.
Yeah, his arm's made of circle. Oh, it was Datasaur all along.
And now we have to run.
We gotta run, yeah.
Well, good thing we have Peloton.
I mean,
That's why I'm
we
here.
have time too. I mean, we weren't exactly, low.
That's it.
Thanks for the stone skin. Thank your healer for the stone skin, guys.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Une. Also, I think Une rezzed me too.
No, maybe the raising. I used a raising commander.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The heck,
I
it's...
think
Oh, it is... I was gonna say it's Dalamud, but it is Dalamud. It's Excalibur.
yeah. Raising just reses the first person that dies. And then I pop
Yeah.
the second one just in case.
Yeah, I think that final boss is really, really easy in compared to the 90 floor one. 90 floor one's not too bad. It's just a lot harder to see what's
It's a little
going
bit
on.
hectic. That's
Yeah, I just think his tells for the elements are like I don't think I would ever mistake them. They're so
all. They're very.
The
Give
con-
Ivan a Peloton.
the contrast is high. It's like really obvious where everything is going to be.
There's chairs we can sit down.
I can't
before
believe
grabbing
you
the-
guys
Nice.
aren't paladins. You guys aren't gonna know the. You guys aren't gonna get to wield the cursed
I
blade.
don't want to wield it.
Wow.
I got my stick.
Gotta pick up the tombstone. Is that the lore?
Let me sit down and take a picture of her.
Where's my sit emote? Here it is.
Oh, this isn't a chair, or maybe it is and I just wasn't on it.
Zoom out and take a pic. Zoomed in pic.
Eat a jelly donut.
Nice.
Whoa!
Ah!
Wait, isn't there a drink tea emote?
It's spade.
Spade.
Yeah, spade
Ah,
monies.
ruined.
Imagine
I'll
not
just keep
eating an
eating.
egg.
I'll just eat jelly donut forever. Can I read? Well, yep.
Yeah, you can read.
You're looking at pretty while you read.
I'm looking at the
Okay.
tombstone.
Thinking about tombstones.
I'm looking at my book.
Love the new Lalafell idol emote. Look at me kick my legs. It's great.
Alright, all good?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
pick it up and go.
Woohoo!
Look on your sacks.
Man, there's just so many treasure chests.
Yeah, you can look at the stuff. You can look at the room. There's a bunch of random shit.
Somebody
Aquaman,
looted it.
man.
Somebody looted the chest before we got here. Freaking rude.
Which is
rude.
weird, 'cause how did they open it up?
Somebody translate the text on the screens for me, thanks.
Hackerman's.
Hacker, yeah. Hackscalibur.
Oh, I can't get it. Jump over.
Alright, I'm
That's
done
it.
playing
That's
this.
Ordos.
Thank you, Brittany.
Boss.
Yeah, Squeed. First try.
First try.
Yeah, you're welcome.
A new high score. Wow.
Damn, that's giga points.
5
Alright.
sack.
Let's go.
I got an
Troll.
Orthos tombstone.
Yeah, you want to
Oh,
save that. That's what you need to buy the mount. if you
Dark
do the
green
troll.
dye. Dark knight sword. Piety 9. Dark blue dye. Dark green dye. Wow.
Right.
Sadew's
Yeah,
sanctified
yes,
spine. Sadew's sanctified paladin arms. Private. Oh,
Yeah,
yo, I got
yeah.
it. I got a minion.
Figments.
You got a minion?
Pike of the demon.
Materia,
and Piety.
materia. Another private pack.
Okay, this Dark Knight weapon looks actually pretty sick. Is that Suzaku, I guess?
Great Flame. Flame Kiss is Suzaku.
Yeah, yes. Oh, it's actually
Sadew's
called
is kinda
Suzaku's Flame Kiss Todachi. Yeah,
that looks pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, this one looks good. This goes to the glam
I got the
hole.
bow. What the hell is? What is wrong with my character?
I don't know, you're smoking. Or
Yeah.
Pretty hello.
What? You
No,
don't...
no. Look at the stream. Look at the stream. Real quick
Oh,
before I leave.
okay.
My character's like falling asleep or something.
It's probably. Did you try a different weapon that has?
Wait, yeah,
like,
it's...
attack?
Why is it slow?
Oh yeah. Look, why?
I've never seen that before.
I know. I just tried it on.
You've got a,
I have
why
a
do you have a
sleeping-
sleep status?
Yeah.
Did you G-pose or something, maybe?
No, I'm not doing anything. I just literally came out.
This guy broke the game.
Mods? I'm reporting you to Yoshi P? Modded the character P? Yeah,
no,
that's wild.
Yeah, I don't know. That's it. I got the barding.
Alright, Orthos Unveiled. Is she gonna ask us our opinions now that we know that they had the cursed blade Excalibur?
What do you think of swords? I don't know. It's a sword.
Well, I mean, I like swords. Fine. What
There's a
awaited
bunch
you?
of
in
text
the-
there if you wanted to know the lore.
Yeah,
If we
the
talk
code
through.
tells you all the boss lore
Yeah.
too.
Ooh.
So that's pretty cool. Take some time to read that.
Haemon himself would have been hard pressed to match her bravery. About that. Who's gonna tell her?
Not me.
Not me.
Alrighty. GG's.
Did you, everyone?
Great job, everyone that died a bajillion times on the way
Great
up.
job.
So is the lore gonna be that the Excalibur was the prototype for Zanzetsuken?
I imagine she'll tell us.
That's my guess.
me. Did my thing just turn off? Hello?
Hey.
Huh? No, I stopped my stream.
Oh, it's my headset noise.
Oh, weird. Alright, guys, I am off for the night.
See
Okay,
ya.
TY.
Please, good job, everyone.
Good job.
Yeah. Yeah,
Where's
it's
Dave?
not too bad. The next time you guys do it, easy peasy. Refer
Yeah.
to the handbook. Never lose
True.
Wait.
until you do lose.
Okay, Q, you're not allowed to do this quest until you play all of Eureka.
Oh.
Oh yeah, there's a little bit of Eureka lore
Well,
in
we
there,
just
yeah.
got the lore on how Excalibur got made. The answer is
Yeah.
go do the other Eureka to find out
Yeah.
the lore. I love how in game, like, I guess WoW pretended to do like power levels. Like, oh, the 80 raid bosses are canonically stronger than the 70 raid bosses. This game, not so much. Oh, that level 70 thing? Yeah, it created the level 90 thing. Don't worry about it. Don't ask
Don't
questions.
worry about it.
Trigger weapons.
You know, we could have just walked in a cutscene, lady.
No. Come. Ko says come. I mean, is she like taking us to a place? Is that why we're moving around here? Oh, okay. Q's actually gonna miss lines in this. Oh, that's great.
Punished.
Yeah. Well then, thanks to you, we can put a nice little bow on this era-spanning legend. You're welcome.
I panicked and thought I was gonna have to fight these guys as soon as I left, and I was like, oh no, I don't know what they do, but we're not in York anymore.
Yeah, well, you've escaped the whole.
Okay, what what are icons in the context of 14 again?
Primals.
Oh, okay.
This is destiny. You mean like fate? Is it fate?
Fate's day night.
Don't say fate. Artorias! Oh my gosh, Amon, Amon did it again.
Eh, man.
She's complaining about walking, but like it's her fault.
It is.
Who asked? Oh, I can't believe I have to walk all this way. Okay, well, I would simply not.
Artorias.
Oh yeah, I forgot that Phlegethon was a rebel.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. King Arthur united Isselbard?
Yeah, why not? Goodbye.
Alright, see ya.
I'm dead now.
Yep. I knew she was gonna say that. Apologize for dressing me like a slut. Fair enough. Cop to it.
Remember me. Clever prevention of panty shot.
Yeah, it was a very, very intentionally chosen angle. The one radiant that wouldn't show up. Pan to the crystal tower. Oh, it didn't even do that. Not today. Oratoros boogie.
Ortodosa boogie.
Oh, I see. All 4 of these accessories equipped are in your inventory. We did it! Now we just have to do heavens on high and palaces, palaces, You know what's great though? You know what the best part of this is? Now we have an item that we have to hang on to for God knows how long. Gotta put it somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, so you have to exchange that thing 4 times and that's how you get them out? That's the rare item she's talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. I don't want to do any ruse.
You're a rue.
True.
Yeah, I'm good.
They're getting rid of Borderlands Borderland Ruins? Is that what they said? Which one's that? The good one?
No. The one where you go to the middle.
It's the one that I like.
Not Uwu?
No, I like the Borderland Ruins better than Uwe.
That's
Okay,
cringe.
that's just wrong.
Yeah. Agreed.
Sorry that you don't understand science. "13 minutes? Damn.
It is late.
Oh, you can buy a display stand to show off your EXCALIBAAAAAA! That's almost just as cool.
How do you get Excalibur?"
Turn in your tomes. I literally just said this. Oh, did you look at the higher tier weapons, Talon? This is what I was talking about, where you get your stupid scythe.
Why does Tal get a
Get
stupid
your,
scythe?
get your red scythe. I mean, he could if you wanted, that's all I'm saying.
Could if you wanted to.
With the Aether Pool
What is that
grips.
from?
I don't know. No one knows what you
Oh, there's
talking
also a framer's kit from that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So 6 total clears to get everything.
Yeah, I mean, if you care.
Okay, I actually
That
don't.
might be fun, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
That sword's
I would do
fine.
more.
I
Actually,
would.
Bad sword fine. Can
I
you
definitely
you can
like
mix
to try
and
for
match
the mount,
sword and
and
shield,
then-
right? For paladin,
What?
you can mix and match sword and shield.
Yeah.
Okay, all these weapons are kind of cool.
You're kind of cool.
Thanks. The nice
Oh,
yours.
wait.
Why do you lie to him like that?
I do not possess any clever prisms. No.
See, of course there's a red and black version of everything for the higher tiers, Ivan.
Just for you. They heard you wanted one. I mean, now we have to clear the thing solo.
Do we?
Yeah, you have to, or else you get arrested.
I don't think we have to.
If you don't want to be a once and future king. Lobridge. Lobbies.
Can't wait to rank up tomorrow.
Fake.
So I haven't done that, have I? Did I do that today? Don't even remember.
Dude, there's no way. First of all, Talon's day ahead.
No, I know, but I don't remember if I did it today.
Did your dailies, not ranked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he
Talon's
meant.
talking about ranking up.
I know what he meant. It's not what I was talking about.
I hate to say it, but I understood what you were saying.
Well, that's just a sign that your brain is broken.
What the fuck just happened? Why did our tank die? Oh my god. Oh my
Is he
god.
healing?
No, I'm not healing. I'm sorcerer.
You're what?
I mean, not sorcerer, summoner. I'm high is what I
You're
am.
you're freaking
You're
a
a
made up
sorcerer.
sorcerer. Q, did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
Yeah. Okay, I soloed this mob. What's happening? Okay, this is worrisome. And I have shit gear too. Like, alright.
Oh wait, the Marvel's big new bad guy got arrested for
Yep.
domestic abuse?
Yep.
God dang, he really was a villain.
Yep.
No,
This is
no.
what you get for hiring actors instead of making
instead of
AI people.
instead of making real life supervillains.
Yeah, true.
No, no, you're King the Conqueror, not King that conquers her.
Okay, that was bad.
That was dark.
Boo.
Dark. That is wild, though. Couldn't happen to a worse company. Ah, there's worse companies. Couldn't happen to a
I mean,
not
Disney owns
great
Marvel,
company.
doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not literally the worst company. Definitely like top 10. I'd say. I
I would
don't
say
know.
like every oil company.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
Like
maybe so.
Nestle.
Yeah, being no, that's in the running.
They do love their child labor.
Well, the problem with Disney, or the problem with ranking
I mean, Disney
companies
also
by
is bad.
well,
Yeah.
the problem is like, how do you weight things? Like Disney just
Yeah.
has so much more influence. Like, who do you compare Disney to? Amazon? Does a small oil company have the capacity to cause harm that Disney does? I don't know the answers to these questions. Dude, the fact that the Marvel Empire is imploding though is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
I agree.
It turns out it's not infinitely sustainable.
Yeah, you can't just crap out 2 movies for the rest of eternity and each one's $1 billion.
still weird to me that I don't have Dots as summoner. No.
Alright, I'm done playing this. It's time to go to RuneScape. For a little while, I guess. It's way later than I thought it was.
I'm stupid. Goddamn. Our healer's stupid too.
Stupider than you.
It's bad.
Man, I'm very sleepy too. I have battle staves waiting to be collected from Zaf. Zap's stabs. Say that 5 times fast. Do it right
Staves.
now. No, you gotta say it. You just gotta say its real name. Zap saps. Zap zap. Rup, rup, rup. Uh, 81 Cosmic Runes. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Oh yeah, isn't there a wilderness task? So while I'm here, why don't I just do this? Wilderness task complete. Oh, do I have to pick up like 5? Oh, that's cringe. I'm not doing that. Pick up 1 5 times in a row. Don't poison me, bro. Thank you. What if you were hanging with your bro and you said, don't poison me? And then he didn't.
What if he poisons you anyway?
No. Teleport me out of here. It's nice that no one PKs at these goddamn earth orbs. Very convenient for me personally. Me personally, I'm an orb. I said it. How am I so brave? Dang, I need a bunch more still. 3 more trips. Maybe one of these, maybe one of those. I'll be back up to a cool, comfy, snug 1 billion billion. There's easy task completed. Glad to get that one crossed off the list.
Q, did you ever finish that randomize your seed?
No,
Why?
because I have other things that I want to do.
Unacceptable.
Okay, good point.
Yawn. Derek.
Exactly.
Imagine being tired.
Okay.
What does it feel like?
Sleepy. Feels like creepy. Dude, that Musk is really knocking it out of the park. That like the Dark Witch micro sub hobby drama that the algorithm recommended me. I was like, why in God's name am I even seeing this?
It's creepy.
You are friends with people who
creepy.
like Dark Witch.
Yeah, but it
So
wasn't.
this must be relevant, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't though. It was just some weirdo.
Storage. I don't remember this.
You remember storage?
I mean, I like vaguely do.
Drops crystals. Bling 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 bling.
Oh, that's right. And then you just move between the crystals as you need to.
Love storage.
Oh yeah, it cranks.
And your intestines. Gotta crank them. Yep, every one of the Light Wardens have torture attacks and is named after a form of love. Can't explain it. Yeah, I guess you could explain
Cranking is a form of love?
it. No, storage.
Guy doesn't think cranking's a form of love.
Do not crank people, Q.
Yeah,
That's how you end up cast as a Marvel supervillain.
Ooh. Which kind was storage? Was that like... Storage is parent-child love. Okay.
What's philia then?
Filial is fraternal love.
Yeah, like friendship. Yeah.
Yep.
Agape is the, like, perfect, all-encompassing love. And Eros. I'm not sure what that means, somebody tell me. Yeah, we
When
didn't
you
get...
love someone so much you shoot arrows at them.
We didn't get an agape in 14 though. I don't think. But that's presumably. I mean, if I had to.
Escape.
What?
Call it escape.
What? Anyway, I would assume that if we turned into a light warden, I'm guessing the warrior of light would end up as agape. That's just my guess.
Break. I forgot to add all. I'm stupid. Oh, well, whatever. The only reason I'm using mid is because my fucking healer sucks.
Deposit orb, ponder orb, consult orb. This, I need my nature runes. I need my money. Then put these next to those. Oh right, I need to teleport. Oh, wait, this would be a good time to try out some advanced level tech. Actually.
Oh no!
What?
Oh no! We got Nabrialis.
And Umbrellas is
Have
easy
fun.
these days.
That was Pug.
Yeah, he's just easy in general.
I think he's easy, but people always fuck it up.
Nah, it's fine.
Guy hasn't seen what I've seen.
See, Q,
Oh,
we played the game. We played the game for years and years and years before you did, buddy.
No, but I always get the worst parties. Like my party that wiped on the first.
You know what they
Bob,
say
who's
about
using
like
that
if
game.
everybody you run into is an
Come
a-hole?
here.
Oh,
DPs,
okay.
DPS aren't responsible for keeping everyone alive.
Wait, Super Mario Eclipse, is that a ROM hack? Super Mario Sunshine Eclipse. Somebody actually make a ROM hack. Yeah, wild. Wonder if it's any good. Oh, they even got a guy to say Super Mario Eclipse! Wahoo! But
I figured out why Prinny was falling asleep.
what's that?
Simple Tweaks add-on has an April Fool's joke in it, which like causes your character to do things like have hearts come off or I guess sleep.
You saying that I should report him to Yoshi P?
Mmm.
I'll do it. Right, Dallin, how would you like me to do two great abilities that go great together? I'm going to high alchemize all these battle staves while I do an agility course.
That's madness.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. Supposedly it's like that's the hotness. I mean, it's not just that. You can fletch. Why fletch? Why fletch? You can fletch. You can do this. You can blow glass, I guess. I don't really know how that would work. Where is... Where's Martini Candidates? Sea kids. Mauritania. Okay, but why Fletch though?
I don't know. I don't know. Why Fletch? That is the question.
This way. Alright.
Wow, we did it without using LB. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's not that hard.
We had normal tanks.
Oh, this course is not lending itself very well to what I'm trying to do here.
Maybe you should pick a better course.
In life.
Yes.
Part of the problem is go up here.
Meow, meow.
It sounds like
Cats me on it, I've
insane.
seen along.
I don't think that's normal. I think it needs to see it shrink.
I don't think shrinking the cat's gonna do anything.
No, he needs to shrink himself. I mean, he can't shrink his brain. That's a no-go.
Can't believe Tal thinks that's funny. Greatest day of my life. He's also ignoring me.
What if you were Aztec king?
I would be a king.
Of the Aztec?
What are you talking about?
AZZTECK, Aztec.
What?
That's some character name I just found in the Crystarium. He's Aztec king.
I see. I'd simply be king of the pirates.
Hmm.
Yeah yo, is Muggity Ivan? I feel like I'm putting in my daily laps in the game. Should put in my daily laps in real life. But I'm lazy and fat. Grow old. I'm
Same.
Fat. Or laugh and grow fat? What does he say? Fatman? How is he so fat when he rollerbladed all the time? This burns calories. Because he was always drinking soda or something. Sody pop.
That is not the user macros.
Come get your sandwiches. Testicle tug.
Excuse you?
That's what somebody said. That's what the sandwich lady said. I have not found a YouTube video to watch, despite my directions. Guess I could just listen to more Kid Icarus Uprising. I love it. So freaking good!
More like Kid Schmickerish Bluprising.
Not wrong. You play
Kid
Kid Icarus.
Schmickerish Downfalling.
You play
Okay.
Kid Icarus Uprising.
Okay. I need to find my circle pad though.
You could emulate it. If I played it again, I'd emulate it so my hand still turned into mush, like Kansas said. I was reading about it after I listened to the OST. One, all the on Rails segments, they actually did explicitly like make each of them custom according to like the layout of the levels. And part of the reason why they were able to do that and like do all the weird tight plotting things is apparently Sakurai just wrote the whole plot himself, like the whole scenario,
Nice.
which is actually wild. I don't think like Sakurai's a writer typically. Is he? I don't know. I wouldn't assume so. But he succeeded somehow. Oh, that silly little game. Very goofy, but knows when to take itself seriously enough that it doesn't just feel like pointless.
I'm just gonna do it eventually.
Huh?
I mentally clicked the wrong freaking macro.
You know you could. Oh wait, you're not on controller. You know you could be on controller and make a hotbar with just the one macro on it, because you have like 8 or 9 of them, right?
Hmm.
Oh, what's that? Controller chats win again? That's weird.
No.
It's weird how that's all they do is win. Oh, Q, I did want to mention, so they had their quarterly Deltarune newsletter that Toby Fox put out, and a big section in this one was, interviewing Tim, and Toby was saying, so quite a few of the questions were around 14, because Toby was saying, why do you keep saying I should play this game? I thought that was funny. Her favorite character? Estinian.
Hell yeah, now.
Yeah. But he kept calling it Final Fantasy 16 in the interview because he's freaking Toby Fox. Don't know nothing about Final Fantasies, I guess.
He doesn't know anything about video games, he just makes music.
Same.
And video games.
No, he just made music and it somehow ended up in a video game.
Just magic.
Yeah.
Why Fletch, though?
Why indeed.
when Sakurai let Dark Pit become his own Smash Brothers character instead of just making him a skin. It's nice. Nice gesture.
Freaking Sakurai.
Dude loves Pit too. How come he didn't name him Pit 2 in the character select screen?
Oh, yo, I'm an idiot.
I know.
Yeah, what's new?
We're fighting Proto Ultima in Dunscape, and
Okay.
like I was wondering, like, why do I recognize these attacks that he's doing? It's because we fight Proto Ultima in Dunscape.
What?
He does the like laser attack.
Uh-huh. What are you saying? Are you having a stroke?
Okay. Yeah, no. Proto Ultima used the
Why
laser.
do I recognize Proto Ultima using Proto Ultima attacks again while fighting Proto Ultima?
No, because he uses the same three thing laser attack when we fought him. In Ultimate. Sorry, I can't play a video
In
game.
the
and speak.
Ultimate. Oh, in Ultima Weapon Unreal.
Yes, whatever.
What he just kept saying, Ultimate, and was like,
I don't know.
what are you talking about?
I've
What do you
never played
do in
Final Fantasy
Ultimate?
14 before, okay?
It's really showing.
Yeah.
I can? Why do I always get this thing?
Well, I finished off my stack of battle stabs, but I only have 12 more laps until I get a level, so I guess I gotta keep going now. It's time for agility. Da, 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 da.
I love scat.
I mean, we're not surprised, but
Yikes.
Oh, it's just
you don't have to
that
tell us
it
about
is-
it.
Yikes! Yikes! Yikes!
That's what someone said.
You felt the need to repeat this to us.
Yeah. So sure.
Unshare it right now.
Friend.
What if all of the dark demon found you found light again?
That'd be nice.
Whoops. Whatever.
Bang, 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 bang. Bum, 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 ba-da, 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 bum, bum, bum.
Don't. It also doesn't help that I'm trying to click the macro that I used to make all of those ingredients up till now.
You can stun Diabolos? Sure.
Yeah. go smack some yak. Big snack yak attack. That's what I say. very thick.
Welcome back.
Just raving.
Welcome back. We're really good at killing the enemies in this pay, but we're not good at taking objectives. It's good, right?
Yeast.
So who on the first do you think is buying all these overpriced coffee makers?
Me.
You absolutely
Julia
do
Chai.
not have to boil dry pasta before using it in a baked pasta dish. It's generally easier if you don't boil it, and the result is arguably better. Basically, all the recipes tell you to parboil your pasta before you bake it in the oven, and I'm honestly not sure why. To convert any existing recipe into this new method that I'm trying to espouse here, first you just assemble it as instructed, but give it a little extra pinch of salt and top it off with just enough water to cover everything. Then bake as normal, maybe a few extra minutes if it seems like it needs it, and that's all. That's dinner. The perfect, easy family meal. A little extra salt, just cover everything with water, bake as usual. That is the conclusion from the experiments that I have been doing. I'm going to show you some of those experiments now, along with some other things that I've learned along the way. First, we need a model recipe, and my girl Chrissy has a great one. A lot of olive oil into my Chrissy Teigen pan. Maybe one day she'll know that I exist. Chrissy says to cut up a couple of eggplant into big cubes and then fry them for a long time until they go soft and kind of mahogany brown. It takes like 20 minutes and you gotta stir almost constantly or they stick and burn. But at the end you have this substance that tastes amazingly like meat in a pasta sauce. Season with salt, pepper, and chili flakes, set aside, and for my first test I will boil some thick penne as instructed. Half a pound exactly so that I can keep my experiment consistent. Boil until a little less than al dente, then drain. Half of my eggplant goes into one dish and half into the other. Then I need 3 cups of tomato sauce in each one. I'll just use a jar sauce today. It's a pretty good jar sauce. Hashtag not an ad. A cup of ricotta cheese into each one. Some balls of fresh mozzarella for heterogeneity, 5 in each. Tear in some fresh basil, season with chili flakes, pepper, and a pinch of salt. Then for my experiment, I'm going to stir one of these up to homogenize it and divide that in half by weight. Into the remaining half batch, I will stir the boiled and drained pasta, and that's done. That's Chrissy Teigen's recipe with 0 alterations. It's ready for the oven. Into each of these quarter batches, I will deposit a 1/4 pound of raw, dry pasta. And this one I will stir up and call done. That's Chrissy's recipe, except I didn't boil the pasta first, that's all. Into this quarter batch, I will add just enough water to make sure that everything is submerged and stirred. The last thing I'll add is just a little bit of extra salt. Remember that when you boil pasta the traditional way, you do it in salted water, and the pasta ends up absorbing some of that salt for flavor. We have not parboiled this pasta, so we're going to need to compensate by putting in a little extra salt. In fact, it's the same amount of salt total in the dish, approximately. One way to test is to taste that watered down sauce. It should taste a little too salty on its own, because the pasta is going to steal some salt from it in the baking process. Chrissy says to bake an hour, and so we'll bake for an hour. I'll show you what they look like after a half hour. Whether you cover these is chiefly a question of how dark and crispy do you like the top. I like it crispy. Raw pasta with extra water looks terrible at this stage, but have faith, give it time. This is a great book, by the way, hashtag not an ad. Great recipe, though it is a little time consuming with the eggplant step. If you want something faster, consider HelloFresh, sponsor of this video. If you've got New Year's goals, like eat at home more often, well, HelloFresh is here. One of my goals is to eat less meat, so I ordered a vegetarian box, but they've got meat plans, fish plans, low carb, kid-friendly, whatever. Hey, let's do the ziti. That's on topic. No need to freeze my way to the grocery store this winter. Everything comes to the door pre-portioned, so there's virtually zero waste, and on average, a HelloFresh meal is about 25% cheaper than takeout. There's going to be a lot of nice fresh vegetables in here, and you know, I always find that HelloFresh recipes are easily customizable. If there's an ingredient we don't like, we just leave it out. Or in this case, I'm going to try not parboiling the pasta as instructed. Just top off with a little extra water. Then the instructions tell you to drop in this seasoned ricotta in globs for heterogeneity. Mozz on top, bake, and that looks awfully good, doesn't it? The pasta itself is perfectly cooked, by the way. Try HelloFresh yourself. Go to HelloFresh.com, use my code AdamRagusia21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. 21 free meals with my link and code in the description. Thank you, HelloFresh. Anyway, here's the Chrissy Teigen eggplant pasta after an hour, per the book. The raw pasta with no extra water looks pretty crispy. Raw pasta with extra water looks like it needs maybe a few more minutes, so I'll give it a few more minutes. I like for the top to be really brown, and there you go. So yeah, not boiling the pasta does not necessarily save you on time. It just saves you on effort and on dishes. Oh, and by dishes, Brits, of course I mean washing up. Boiled pasta, raw pasta with no extra water, raw pasta with extra water. Raw pasta with no extra water doesn't quite taste as bad as it looks, but the sauce is too thick and the top layer is inevitably hard. Get rid of that. Here's the real comparison. The texture of the penne is remarkably similar. Boiled pasta is no less or more al dente than the raw pasta with extra water. Sauce consistency is the same. I asked Lauren to try them to see if she could tell which was which. She could not, though she could spot a difference. Notice how the raw pasta with extra water is a little darker in color. The noodle itself is also a little stronger in flavor. When pasta cooks entirely inside a flavored liquid, more of that flavor and color penetrates into the structure of the noodle, and you actually taste it as you bite through it. I'm honestly not sure that I prefer that. Might just be that this is what I'm used to, but maybe I prefer the heterogeneity provided by the slightly bland boiled pasta that's offset by the strong sauce that's all around it. But you know, it's a subtle difference. You probably wouldn't notice without me calling your attention to it. And I feel much more strongly about not having to wash my pasta pot. If you're clever about it, you can do a baked pasta dish as a one-pot meal. I'm not even going to dirty a cutting board here. I'll just crudely slice a shallot directly into my baking dish. It's going to cook for an hour in the oven. It's going to be fine. I've got some leftover bagged greens. Throw some of those in. A baked pasta dish is great for cleaning out the fridge. I've got some canned crushed tomatoes. You really don't have to cook the sauce in advance. It's going to bake in the oven. I've got some bresaola, which is cured beef, but any thin sliced cured meat would work, or skip it. I've got some fresh mozzarella, deposit in big chunks for heterogeneity. Pepper, chili flakes, maybe some shaky cheese, garlic powder, and a little more salt than I would normally use, because remember, my raw pasta is going to steal some salt. I'll simply stuff in as much dry pasta as I can fit. Top off with water, or perhaps another liquid like white wine. I'd better cut that with at least some water, just enough to cover everything. Bake for about an hour, and toward the end, I could put some more mozzarella on top to get a nice melty effect. When the dish seems solid, it's done. The flavor of that actually has a nice freshness that I think I prefer to a dish made with pre-cooked sauce and veggies. Really nice and stupid easy. Now I know that some of you are comforted by rules and strict measurements, and you might not be really comfortable just eyeballing the amount of water that needs to go
It's time to put in a
well,
phone
let's
call to
find out
Hans.
exactly how much water
No,
dry
not the
pasta needs
Hans.
to get soft. I'm boiling exactly
I'm
half a
just
pound
killing
of
some
dry
amis.
pasta in
What's
exactly
wrong with
1
that?
kilo of water. Sorry for mixing my measurement systems, but hey, that's America. The pasta is now al dente. I'll thoroughly drain it before dumping it
Hans,
into a
gank this
bowl
man
to weigh it.
immediately.
And 227
No, he
grams
must
of dry
not.
He loves the
pasta now
ganking.
weighs
No,
about
I don't.
500
I
grams.
don't
I've done
love
this
the
test
ganking.
many times before, and it's pretty consistent. Really, any kind of dry pasta will absorb at least its own weight in water. But let's weigh the water that we have left over. Remember, I started with 1,000 grams of water. 275 grams of that is now inside the pasta, and we've got 450 grams left. What happened to the other 275 grams of water? It evaporated in the cooking process, and that would happen in a baked pasta dish as well, especially if you don't cover it with a lid. So, if you want a formula, just put your dry pasta into the dish and then add roughly twice its own weight in water to account for both absorption and evaporation. But me, I'm just gonna eyeball it. Here's one more one-pan dish, or at least it can be one pan if you have a flame-proof casserole. A big knob of butter goes in along with 2 cups of milk and then 6 ounces of American cheese. Yes, this is my Italian-American grandmother's mac and cheese recipe that I cooked on the channel here years ago with my dad. Just stir to gently melt that cheese in. American cheese is bound with emulsifying salts, and there's enough of it in there to emulsify this whole sauce without needing a butter and flour roux, and a roux makes mac and cheese taste kind of gritty. You could do this same recipe with real cheese instead and just drop in like a teaspoon of sodium citrate, which you can buy off the internet. Totally smooth and emulsified. Season with pepper. I like some garlic powder and a pinch of salt. Skip that salt if you use sodium citrate because that's half sodium. Grandma parboiled the pasta. I don't bother anymore. Half a pound in there, and I'm not adding any extra milk or water. I always thought the sauce was a little too much anyway, but you could add an extra cup of milk or hold back some of the pasta. This you definitely need to cover for the first phase of baking, otherwise the cheese on top will burn. I bake for half an hour covered and then another 20 or 30 minutes uncovered until I like the color, and there you go. Couldn't be easier, couldn't be more delicious. Sorry, Grandma. So why do all of the baked pasta recipes tell you to parboil your pasta before you put it in the oven? My best guess is that it's a habit that was left over from the days when all pasta was fresh. As I talked about in my old video about lasagna, when you make baked pasta with raw, fresh egg noodles, it comes out kind of gummy in spots and kind of leathery in others. It's just gross. You have to boil it first. And mind you, I'm talking about real fresh egg pasta there, not these raw, fresh lasagna sheets that you get in the refrigerator section that are soft and you can throw them right in. These have been pre-cooked in some way prior to packaging. That's why you can throw them straight into the dish. I mean, I'm not claiming to know what their manufacturing process is. Maybe they don't literally boil it, but the starch is very clearly gelatinized in some way prior to packaging. That's why you can throw it straight into the dish. And from now on, I will be throwing my dry pasta straight into the dish too, because I just can't come up with a good enough reason to do anything else.
That was my best PvP ever.
Oh,
Had 8 kills, 0 deaths,
that's pretty good.
summoner OP.
Pretty good.
It's one of the great American food stories, a quintessentially 20th century confluence of immigrants and industry that yielded my second favorite pizza style. That might sound like faint praise, but I assure you it is not, considering how much I love a certain other pizza style. This is where my number 2 pizza comes from. Actually, it's quite far from the magnificent Art Deco skyscrapers of downtown Detroit. 6 miles north to be exact, because it's up around 6 Mile Road. There's a neighborhood where you're still likely to find fresh metal scraps on the sidewalk, in spite of all the deindustrialization that has humbled and hollowed out this proud city of production. Here it is, Buddy's Pizza, the original 6 Mile location. Wes Pakula has worked here since the 1970s when he was just a kid. He remembers delivering beers to cranky old Italian guys who'd get into fights playing bocce out on this court.
They would come here, and quite often they would hit this edge, and then the beers would all be in a bocce court, and of course I'd have to run from behind the bar, pour new beers, come out here, clean up.
Every server or former server out there felt that one in the chest, Wes. Anyway, pizza.
The story goes that in 1944, a gentleman by the name of Gus Guerrero bought a little bar here. And in around 1946, his mother was from Sicily, and she had come up with the idea of maybe doing a pizza. The original pizza type in Sicily was called a sficcione, which is sort of like dough, meat pressed into the dough, little Parmesan cheese.
This is something like what that Sicilian sficcione would have looked like. Square, not round, not thin, but not thick either. Tomato sauce, a little cheese on top, but nothing like a solid layer of mozzarella. That was the jumping off point for the pizza that Gus Guerrera and company came up with. Buddy's then went through a succession of owners. That's Big Jimmy, and over here is Little Jimmy. They came next.
And Big Jimmy and Little Jimmy owned it till 1970. And at that time, the Jacobs family bought the restaurant, and they own it to this day. And when I started at Buddy's, these are the ladies that were significant in the kitchen. And over here you have Sabina, you have Dee, you have Connie, and you have Gija. And if anybody new came in and wanted to change the process, it wasn't going to happen. And if you look at some of the arms on these ladies, you could see that you weren't going to challenge any changes.
Yeah, so not surprisingly, the pizza today is basically what it was in 1970 when the Detroit News ran a citywide contest. That's a square Buddy's pie in the center, and it won. People who worked at Buddy's or who ate at Buddy's went on to start their own places that came to be known as Detroit-style pizza. But here's the original. It starts with a dough that's on the wet side.
It's probably somewhere between 60 and 70%.
That's about what I usually do for pizza dough, though they use cake yeast rather than dry. They feel it gives them a slower fermentation they prefer. They don't use sugar or oil or any dough conditioners.
Yeast, salt, and water. The initial fermentation can take starts at about 2 hours, and then there's a period where the dough is kind of kept in holding.
That's what these pans are doing over here. They're covered to retain heat and thereby accelerates the proof. Those pies are for the lunch service, so they have to proof faster than the doughs they're going to bake for dinner. They do an initial stretch in a lightly oiled pan. They let it rest, let the gluten relax, and then they give it a second stretch to get the dough fully into those corners where it can brown and it can get you the crispy edge characteristic of Detroit-style pizza, an effect provided by the secret ingredient, which is the pan itself, a uniquely Detroit ingredient. That dough reminds me of something. Oh yeah, my mattress from Helix Sleep, sponsor of this video. Man, I was glad to get home to this baby after my unusually a sidesk, a proofed risk ingredient of Detroit-style pizza, the pans.
They found these pans here because the whole area was tool and die shops, small automotive suppliers, did a little bit of manufacturing. They had these sort of pans there, or scrap metal collectors. I call them pans now, but they're actually scrap metal collectors, made out of blue steel that they would use around the shop as inexpensive drip trays and things like that. So we don't know the exact origin of how it happened, but the pan somehow got to the location, and they actually put dough in it to see if it would bake. And lo and behold, the first pizza was made with the pans that were originally sourced from the manufacturer. They weren't food service pans.
See what I mean? Immigrants plus industry equals this. A layer of pepperoni goes on first, instead of last, like you would do with New York-style pizza. That's the Sicilian sficcione influence. Here's something totally American. Wisconsin brick cheese, not mozzarella. Wisconsin is this historic center of the dairy industry in the United States. It's right across Lake Michigan, and there in the 19th century they developed this particular new kind of cheese called brick cheese. One possible origin of the name is that they would press the cheese between bricks. It's pressed firm like cheddar, but it's cultured at a higher temperature, so you get a softer texture, kind of like mozzarella, but the flavor is more fermented and funky like sharp cheddar.
The cheese that winds up on the edges can kind of fall in, and that creates what they call the caramelized crust these days.
They used to call it the buttery crust, and lots of people try to replicate the effect with actual butter and such these days, but this is just cheese with a little olive oil on the pan. Then they take a sauce based on canned tomatoes from this company Stanislaus that's very popular with New York-style pizza places as well. But unlike New York style, they spoon it on top of the cheese.
You don't want it to weigh down the pizza. You don't want it to create a lot of water, residue and things like that. So it's a skip. And we go the 3 lines, we call them racing stripes for fun because of the automotive. So then you're sort of running 3 stripes across.
Notice how he's not covering the cheese in sauce, not entirely. This is key. As pizza stabbed westward across the United States, something gradually went terribly wrong, in my view at least. They kept adding more and more sauce to the very top layer, and by the time you get to Chicago, you've got a pizza that's completely flooded with tomato sauce on top, and the cheese cannot brown. I mean, you do you, Chicago, but I prefer things a little bit further back east in Detroit. Some of this cheese will still be able to brown, and we are ready to bake. We're about to see the magic of these blue steel pizza pans. They don't use drip pans anymore. These are food grade. Blue steel is a very heat-conductive alloy of carbon steel with some tungsten and chromium. Chromium is what makes stainless steel very shiny and very rust-resistant. Blue steel does not have as much chromium, and so people generally still want to season the metal when they're using it for food purposes. Burn on some oil to serve as a rust protectant and also provide some non-stick and thermal interface properties when cooking. The way that they season the pans at Buddy's is that they wipe out the pans in between use, but they don't always wash it in between use, very deliberately.
And basically the pan seasons itself as it keeps baking.
As a result, the pans get better and better as they age, and so they try to keep them in service for as long as possible. You can see that one is getting a hole in it. Its working life is almost over, sadly. In goes the pizza to an infrared conveyor oven at about 600 degrees Fahrenheit, 315 Celsius for maybe 13 minutes, but time and temperature vary slightly. They're pretty obsessive about their craft at Buddy's, and so they consider things like atmospheric conditions and day-to-day variables in the ingredients. These are test pies they did right before lunch just to see how the dough is baking today. They always do tests.
Right back.
Here's my pizza out the other end of the conveyor.
You're cracking that corner, get that crunch. I'm just showing you that that's what you're looking for. You hear the crunch?
Yeah, Wes wanted me to tell you that he would never crack the corner of a customer's pie. He was just doing that for the cameras, to demonstrate. And you can tell he's a little frustrated because he feels the dough on this one was slightly underproofed. I did come very early in the day, so the pizza is not quite as tall and light as he would normally like it, but I am still absolutely blown away by it. I thought it wasn't going to be enough sauce for me, but it totally is, and I like how that thin layer of sauce was able to brown a little in the oven. That caramelized edge is just insane. It's not so dark that it tastes burned, and it's not terribly greasy either. It's blonde, which tastes crispy yet buttery, the buttery crust. And the inside is just light and pillowy, a classic for a reason. That's what they call their margarita, the original. They do other pies now. This one has a tomato basil topping.
It has a little bit of Asiago on it, and this is where you evolve with customer tastes and things like that.
I love that this is their definition of avant-garde. They keep it traditional around here because they figure the ladies with the big arms are still looking over their shoulders. It's about perfection, not innovation here. I love it. I love everything about it. Go to Buddy's. Go to Detroit. The constant drip of industrial offshoring and automation will never fully drain the spirit of this city. Visit Detroit. It represents what I think is most noble about the United States. But speaking of outsourcing, is it possible to make authentic Detroit-style pizza at home? I think we're going to need to order some special things over the internet. I'll get back to you in a few weeks. When it comes to beef, everybody worries about the same thing, which is E. coli bacteria. When I was a kid, I remember everybody here in the US freaking out about the Jack in the Box outbreak. Jack in the Box is kind of the less successful younger brother of McDonald's, another fast food chain born of a mid-20th century Southern California hamburger stand. In 1993, hundreds of customers in the Pacific Northwest got sick from E. coli and 4 little kids died. Unimaginable for those families, but as public health crises go, this was really just a blip on the radar. I mean, that same year in the United States, more than 1,200 kids under 13 died in car crashes, for example. Half as many American kids die in crashes these days because cars have gotten a lot safer. Has beef gotten safer since 1993? Well, small as it was, the Jack in the Box outbreak really freaked people out and led to massive changes in the US food system that have been mirrored in other countries. Has it worked? Well, that's a very hard question to answer. Certainly you don't seem to hear very often about people getting E. coli. Compare it to norovirus, the #1 foodborne illness. More than 5 million cases estimated every year here in the US and nearly 1,000 deaths. I've had norovirus, I know tons of people who've had norovirus. In contrast, there's only about 250,000 estimated E. coli cases a year in the US and about 100 deaths. It's a problem for sure. But it was only the other day that for the first time in my life, I actually met someone who had a real case of E. coli. It was years ago. She was just a little kid when it happened. Coincidentally, she grew up to be a food microbiologist here at the University of Georgia Extension. Dr. Carla Schwann, director of the National Center for Home Food Preservation. We just talked to her about pickling. This is her lab. This piece of equipment is called a stomacher. It's exactly what it sounds like.
All the bacteria, let's say if you have a lettuce and you need to extract all the bacteria that might be present in the crevices of lettuce.
Leafy vegetables, also a major carrier of E. coli. Lots of little crevices where bacteria can hide, plus we usually eat them raw.
And what this machine does is basically gonna smack that sample very quickly. Once you're done, you're gonna have a very not appealing sample that has been smacked, and all your bacteria are gonna be hopefully in that liquid.
Dr. Schwann actually did her graduate research on E. coli at Kansas State. Poetic justice, considering E. coli almost killed her when she was 12.
Rural Brazil, 3,000 people is the total size of my home city, and nobody knew what was going on, so they took me to a bigger city, they did a bunch of tests, and they finally realized I had Shiga toxin-producing E. coli.
Shiga toxin producing E. coli, that is key. Most Escherichia coli bacteria are harmless. They're probably in your gut right now, actually helping. They make vitamin K2 for you. E. coli are among the many gut microorganisms with which all warm-blooded animals have a mutualistic relationship.
Goodbye.
That includes birds who poop on crops, and that's one of many reasons why E. coli are found in pretty much any food that comes from a farm, not just meat. And that's not bad because we actually need bacteria in our bodies. If you could use a few more beneficial microorganisms in your gut, consider taking Symbiotic Plus from
Good night, Dave, who was asleep this whole
animal
time.
products and major allergens. Gut health is a complicated topic and research is ongoing, but there is actual reason to believe that the beneficial bacteria in here could help with gas and bloating, mild and occasional diarrhea. Ritual is offering you 20% off your first month of Symbiotic Plus. Go to ritual.com/AdamRagusia20. Use my code AdamRagusia20, 20% off your first month with my link and code in the description. Thank you, Ritual. I want to emphasize now, even more than I usually do, that the ad is now over. Nothing else that anybody is saying in this video was paid for by anyone. Anyway, most E. coli strains are just fine. Some of them maybe cause some gastroenteritis or maybe a UTI. In babies, they can be a cause of bacterial meningitis. That's more serious. And then there's Shiga toxin producing E. coli, named after the Japanese bacteriologist Kiyoshi Shiga. In 1897, he discovered the bacteria that causes dysentery. The genus Shigella is therefore named after Dr. Shiga, as is the toxin they produce. In 1977, Canadian researchers found the same toxin produced by a particular line of E. coli. Then, in 1982, the year I was born, there was an outbreak. Dateline, Oak Brook, Illinois, corporate headquarters of McDonald's. Dozens of people who ate at McDonald's locations in Michigan and Oregon ended up in the hospital with severe diarrhea. There is absolutely no basis of concern about the company's future performance, read a corporate statement. Oh, thank goodness, I was so worried. Let's see, here's a spokesperson for the Centers for Disease Control. Because they ate at peak hours, there may have been a large number of frozen patties on the grill, and those patties may have reduced the heat of the grill below the proper temperature, end quote. Soon after, the CDC analyzed stool samples from some of the patients, and they identified a rare Escherichia coli serotype. That's a strain or a particular family line within the species. It makes the same family of toxins responsible for dysentery, and by extension, it's responsible for the deaths of Henry V and half of the other historical figures you've ever read about. Turns out a medieval siege is not a great place to find clean drinking water. Maybe try not conquering other people's countries. Anyway, this newly discovered, deadlier E. coli probably came to us from the guts of ruminants like cattle, which are not bothered by the Shiga toxin. Therefore, they make an excellent host for the bacteria. It's actually bad for the bacteria if they kill their host or provoke a really strong immune response from the host. So in that sense, we humans were bad hosts to the Shiga toxin producing E. coli.
A receptor in our intestines, in our system, that is called GB3 receptor, and that's where it attaches, and that's why we get sick. On the other hand, cattle, which is the major reservoir of E. coli, they do not have that receptor.
But we do, and via that receptor, the Shiga toxin is able to get into the cells, particularly the cells in the lining of our smaller blood vessels, and once inside our cells, the toxin inhibits protein synthesis, and so the cells start to die, our blood vessels hemorrhage.
The worst case scenario, it can shut down your kidneys, so it produces hemolytic uremic syndrome, so HUS. And when that happens, a lot of times you die, unfortunately. And so I was able to survive, so I'm here today.
But she was on dialysis for weeks, just like 21 of the kids affected by the Jack-in-the-Box outbreak. Those are the immediate hazards of Shiga toxin. Then there are the lasting ones.
Now my microbiome is more limited and I don't have as much diversity because of that event. And fast forward, now you have an autoimmune disease that is in your gut again.
She has Crohn's disease, and she can't say for sure if it was the E. coli that caused it, but it definitely could have. So now you're probably thinking, how does this happen? How can I stop it from happening?
When I got sick with E. coli, I was traveling with my dad, and my dad was an extension person as well back in Brazil. And when I didn't have school, he would take me with him to go to the different field days and all of that. And so I would travel with him. And I remember that day we shared a burger. Of course, the burgers in Brazil are very different from the US. They're very big, you know, they're full with stuff. And we shared a burger. He ate half and I ate half. And he didn't get sick. I got super sick.
Hardly surprising, it's always kids and old people, people whose immune systems are not strong enough to fight off the infection. E. coli might have evolved the Shiga toxin to combat our immune response that usually kills them. I mean, like most events in evolutionary biology, that's kind of a chicken and egg problem, but it's definitely true that when people get the really bad E. coli, doctors will often not prescribe antibiotics.
When bacteria feel threatened, they go in survival mode. And part of the survival mode is producing the toxin.
And that might make you sicker. Dr. Schwann got real sick regardless. It's totally standard that the infection got the kid and not the adult. And it's totally standard that it came from a burger. Cattle will have live E. coli on their hides and in their digestive tracts. If either of those come into contact with the muscle tissue during slaughter, well then the surface of the meat can be contaminated. That does not stop Dr. Schwann from eating rare steaks. She does it all the time, so do I.
A steak is different than ground beef because a steak you have the full muscle, it is intact, and so if you have bacteria, that bacteria is going to be on the surface of the steak. And when you are cooking that steak, even if it's like on the surface, you are killing that bacteria that is on the surface. It is not going to be inside down because it's an intact muscle. Ground beef is different because then now you're grinding that steak and you're introducing that bacteria that was on the surface to the inside.
Yeah, the outside is on the inside, which is why I basically never risk a rare burger. It helps that I don't really like rare burgers. In response to the Jack in the Box outbreak, the US government raised their recommended internal temperature target for burgers. It's now 160 Fahrenheit, 71 C. With carryover, that should be more than enough to kill E. coli. And then there's all the regulations governing wastewater and runoff from farms. That's probably a big source of E. coli contamination in non-meat foods. There's regulations for the slaughterhouses too.
So USDA regulates all of that, and they do an amazing job at having regulations in place and inspectors on site on every single facility.
It's crazy. A government inspector will literally go through all of the entrails, kind of sift through the entrails. It looks like they're trying to tell the future, which I suppose in a way they kind of are, because what they're looking for is any kind of perforation, any cut or prick that could have released the contents of the digestive system and contaminated the meat. Because if they find a little cut in the entrails, they know the meat might be bad, so they pull the meat off the line. Have these things made everybody safer? Well, no one knows for sure. Every year there's an outbreak or two, like this one linked to lettuce in 2019, but outside of those isolated events, you're really only talking about a handful of actually documented cases, and it's hard to draw statistically significant conclusions from such tiny numbers. But maybe that itself is an indication of success. Still, wash your veggies that you plan to eat raw, cook your ground meat all the way through, and generally try to avoid cross-contamination. Oh, also, it's not recommended to eat raw flour anymore because there's an E. coli risk there. That's one that we'll talk about another day. Pickling is the act of preserving food with acid. You can do that as simply as submerging the food in vinegar or lime juice for a real long time. As long as you get the pH below the magic number of 4.6, you're gonna have pickles. But some people would argue that those are not true pickles. No. They would say that true pickles are preserved by an acid created by the bacteria inside the food itself, lactic acid. That's what lactofermentation is. It's a pretty magical process that yields some of the most delicious foods humans have ever come up with. It was one of the only ways people had to preserve vegetables until refrigeration. And when it comes to us modern people, there are scientists who believe we would be healthier, our guts would be healthier, if we ate more of these lacto-fermented foods again, even though we don't really have to anymore because, we have the fridge. That said, it can be a little scary eating a wet thing that you just left at room temperature for a few weeks. How do you pickle safely, and how big are the risks? Well, field trip to the University of Georgia Extension, where food microbiologist Dr. Carla Schwann directs the National Center for Home Food Preservation.
When you look at the microflora, the indigenous flora in a cucumber, for example, or cabbage, if you're doing sauerkraut, there is around 10 million cells of indigenous bacteria that are not lactic acid bacteria. So E. coli, coliforms, Clostridium.
Yeah, you heard that right. Lots of bad bugs inside vegetables. Usually not enough to make a healthy person sick, which is why we can eat raw vegetables. Though with these cucumbers, you gotta make sure to knock off those little trichomes. Very, very sharp those are. And for pickling cucumbers, you want to cut off the flower end. Not the stem end, but the end where the flower used to be. Why?
Always remove the flower end because you can have certain fungi that are present, and they have enzymes that basically break down pectin.
Plus, the flower itself makes some of these enzymes that could make the pickles kind of soft and slimy, so that's not good. That's why we cut off the flower end. There's not a ton of bad bacteria in most veggies, but what matters is the proportion. You got millions of bad bacteria in contrast to maybe just 1,000 or a few thousand of the good bacteria that we want. Lactic acid producing bacteria. There's only a few of them relative to the bad ones, so we got to give them an advantage.
We select the good bacteria and we suppress the bad bacteria that are present there. So how do we do that? We utilize salt.
The trick is how much salt. If you completely pack food in salt, you will kill everything. Salt draws the water out of cells. Bacteria shrivel up and die. You preserve the food basically forever, which people have been doing for thousands of years. That may be how some of them accidentally invented lactofermentation. Maybe somebody was trying to salt cure their food, but they didn't have quite enough salt that day, and they did not put on enough salt to kill all microorganisms. It was just enough salt to kill the bad ones. Lactic acid producing bacteria are able to tolerate some salt. How depends on the species, but here's one example. Some lactic acid bacteria are able to absorb compounds from their environment that balance out the osmotic pressure of the salt water around them. Like the amino acid proline, for example. They suck it into their cytoplasm. It doesn't hurt them in there the way that salt would, and yet it is able to balance out the osmotic pressure of the salt that's outside the cell. It's like two people leaning on the same swinging door from both sides. The door stays shut and the water doesn't leak out of the cell. So the sweet spot where bad bacteria die and good bacteria thrive is between 2 and 2.5% salt by weight. For pickled cabbage, that's really easy to figure. You just weigh out your cut cabbage, figure out what 2.5% of that is, and sprinkle on that much sodium chloride. It's the weight of the salt, not the weight of sodium specifically. In the case of European-style pickled cabbage, sauerkraut, this is basically it. You let the cabbage sit for a while, maybe mash it up a little to draw out the natural water inside the cabbage. I love sauerkraut and kimchi, but at this stage it really does smell like farts. You know what smells nicer? Body wash from Native, sponsor of this video. Look at these gorgeous scents. I'm partial to citrus and herbal musk, but today I'm gonna try sea salt and cedar. Smells like the beach, minus the rotting seaweed note, of course. Check that luxurious and foamy lather. Despite the fact that Native body wash is sulfate-free with the salt water, the brine, which you have to do. You have to create an anaerobic environment for the food. If it's exposed to air, you're gonna get some bad bugs, especially fungi. On the other hand, you cannot seal this up tight either. I know this looks and feels like we are canning, but we are not canning. Canning is a totally different thing that requires using heat to sterilize everything, among other steps. And you can't really do that with fermentation because you'd kill the bacteria that you need to ferment your food and make lactic acid. Canning also requires totally airtight seals, but we can't do that in fermentation either.
No, yeah, you're not going to seal in the mason jar because you have production of CO2 and that could potentially explode, so you don't want that, right?
So some people do ferment pickles in just a loose-fitting mason jar to let the gas escape, but Dr. Schwann says that's not really a best practice. Like, here's my kraut after it's been fermenting about 6 weeks, and you can see the dry cavities that have developed. Fungus and other bad stuff could grow in there where there's air. So what you really want is a weight that will push all of the solids down below the brine as they shrivel. There are pickling weights you can buy. They're usually ceramic, which is both heavy and chemically non-reactive. I should have done that. This kraut smells great, but it's probably a little risky. I don't think I'm gonna eat it. Let's do better with the cucumbers. Whole cucumbers are a little bit trickier to pickle because not enough water is gonna come out of them to keep everything submerged. So you're gonna have to use some water, add some water to get enough brine. And you have to factor that water into your calculations. We need the total contents of this pot to be between 2 and 2.5% salt by weight, not just the water. So I either need to weigh the cucumbers with the water and then figure out 2.5% of that, or I can just follow a time-tested, volume-based recipe, like the ones provided by Dr. Schwann's National Center for Home Food Preservation. They have a book that you can buy, but they have tons of recipes for free on their website, tested and trusted by scientists. I'm following their recipe for dill pickles. Fine sea salt, it dissolves readily and it has no additives like iodine or anti-caking agents that could cloud the brine. And then this is weird, a little bit of vinegar? I thought the whole point of lacto pickles was no vinegar. Well, Dr. Schwann says that commercial dill pickle makers usually use a lot more salt, maybe up to 5% salt. That's a little bit more reliable. There's definitely no way that any bad bugs could survive an environment that salty. The problem is that the pickles are then inedibly salty, so what they do after they ferment them is they put them into pure fresh water to purge the salt out of them. We're probably not going to do that at home, so for us that little bit of vinegar is just an insurance policy. It controls the bad bugs before the lactic acid bacteria can get established and start making their own acid. Dill pickles have dill, duh, maybe some spice, and then a whole lot of garlic. That's what makes a New York Jewish deli-style pickle to me. Some people use food-grade lime. It gets you crispy pickles, but people say that tannins in black tea leaves have a similar effect. No idea if that's actually true. Lay in the cucumbers. They really can't be any bigger than that, or they'll take too long to pickle. And you can see that they're floating. We need to weigh them down with something to keep them in that anaerobic environment. Metal would react with the acid. Glass is chemically inert, and it'll provide a window through which we can watch. Into the basement closet with you. Normal room temperature is generally the best for lactofermentation, and we'll see you in a few weeks. Time lapse. In the first week or so, enzymes break down the chlorophyll. Anyone can see that, but a trained eye like Dr. Schwann's sees something else.
Those small bubbles, I don't know if you can see here.
Could be gas escaping from inside the cucumber cells, but it could also be CO2, which might be created by our first string good bacteria.
Leuconostochmus enteroides.
Yeah, what she said. That species, or a similar one, will dominate for the first week, making CO2 and lactic acid.
When that is happening, you also see, let's say you have coliforms present, you also see the coliforms dying.
Coliforms would be bad things like E. coli, bad soil bacteria. Those first good ones can only handle a little acid, so once the environment gets to like 1% lactic acid, they shut down. And some more acid-tolerant species take over, like Lactobacillus brevis and Lactobacillus plantarum. They go about eating the sugar in the cucumbers. Yes, there's a little bit of sugar in a cucumber. They create lactic acid as a waste product, eventually driving the pH in there below 4.6, which is crucial. You might be wondering why Dr. Schwann is plotting a downward trajectory to describe rising acid concentration. It's because as acid goes up, pH goes down, and we gotta get that pH below 4.6.
Clostridium botulinum will not grow below 4.6. And so if your pH is above 4.6, you have to be worried about Clostridium, and you know that Clostridium botulinum produces a neurotoxin that causes botulism. We definitely don't want to have that. There's also other pathogens that will survive and will grow at higher pH. So you're talking about Listeria, you're talking about E. coli, Salmonella, so it's a whole gang of bacteria that could be present if you stop the fermentation too early.
That said, for many years, New York Jewish delis have sold these things they call half sours, which is a pickle they take out before it's completed its fermentation process, so it's not so sour and it's a little bit more crisp and green. And nobody's gotten botulism from those, as far as I can tell, no case reports that I can find. Crucially though, those delis put them into the refrigerator, and refrigerator would also slow the growth of the botulism bacteria. That's really, really important. Back in the day, they didn't have refrigeration, so they had to keep fermenting until the pickles were really sour. Somewhere between a pH of 3 and 4 is where the good bacteria can't take it anymore. They shut down and your pickles are done as they're ever gonna be. They should smell sour, they should taste sour. At this point, it's safest to either can them or transfer them to the fridge because bad things could happen. Wait for it, and mold! Giant mold bloom about 6 weeks in. Spores could have floated in on the air, or they could have been on my spices. Mold or other fungus can grow on any of the surface that's exposed to air. You're supposed to skim it off as soon as you see it, but I didn't want to mess up the time lapse. And as a result, things got really out of hand. Now, lots of the fungal growth is going to be harmless things like yeast, and Dr. Schwann says even dangerous fungi generally will not create mycotoxins in salty conditions, but only if you skim frequently.
You don't want to have that, different layers of mold, because that top layer of mold could be producing mycotoxin, and it's not in contact with the brine or anything. And yeah, I would not eat that. If you had removed it over time consistently, then yes, but like this after 8 weeks, definitely not.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have a teeny tiny little bite. Tastes great, what a shame. Here's what Dr. Schwann likes to use as a weight, a sealed plastic bag full of 2.5% brine. It conforms to the bowl, fully covering the surface, though gas can still get out. And if the bag leaks, no problem, because it's filled with brine and not plain water that would dilute the brine. If you do that and you follow a time-tested recipe like the ones they have from the National Center for Home Food Preservation, that's going to keep you out of trouble. Dr. Schwann is aware of no documented case in which someone has gotten sick from properly lacto-fermented vegetables. Meat, sure, but not vegetables. And I've been combing the literature. I can't find anything. I've talked to other food microbiologists. They don't know of any cases. It's just not a thing that seems to happen. These pickles are really safe as long as you do everything basically right. Use your senses, though. If the pickles smell like they're rotting, if they don't smell or taste sour, well, that's an indication that your good bacteria lost the battle against the bad ones. But follow the recipe and that just probably won't happen. What's more likely to happen is that all of these live beneficial bacteria and their metabolites will end up in your gut, where they will improve your gut health. And that's a really complicated topic that we'll talk about more another day, but that is real science.
There has been some studies showing that I think if you consume 120 grams of kimchi, I think it was.
Oh, that's
study I
funny.
saw,
For April Fools, I just noticed somebody in chat said it. There's a new skill in the skill tab. Apparently it's random for everybody between one of the three. I got sailing.
Go level your sailing.
Nothing happens if I click it. It's just nothing. Somebody said they got shamanism. I wanted shamanism.
April Fools, we're actually making all of them real.
Oh my god.
Day, you're going to have health benefits. And I was trying to do that for a while, and it's a lot of kimchi. I wasn't able to keep up.
Behold, the
but,
birth of
yeah.
the modern
In South
breakfast
Korea-
cereal industry. Or at least this is my very rough historical reconstruction of the event. It's hard to know exactly what happened because the people involved grew to absolutely hate each other, and they naturally left conflicting accounts to posterity. Regardless, this moment in 1894 was momentous. Prior to the invention of pre-cooked, ready-to-eat cereals, breakfast was a huge pain to make. Picture it. Say you're a typical mom on a family farm in pre-industrial agrarian times. You need to feed your family something when they wake up so that they can go out and toil in the fields. They need body fuel. So in order to cook for them, you're gonna have to wake up at least an hour before they do. It's gonna be pitch black and it's gonna be cold. By candlelight, you get a little coal or wood fire going in your stove because, of course, you don't have electricity yet. Then you put some whole or roughly milled grains on the boil. And it takes at least 45 minutes for them to soften into a porridge that is remotely digestible. Why not just bake bread? Well, remember, traditional yeast breads take hours to rise. You would work through the night to bake for the morning. There's a reason bakers go to work at 2 in the morning. Chemical leavening agents for quick breads only hit the market in the mid-19th century. And even then, biscuits or pancakes are still no small deal to make in the morning. You could bake bread the previous day for the morning, but in the days before chemical dough conditioners or airtight storage methods, bread went stale really fast. It would be hard by the morning. Of course, when you live on a farm, the first thing you do when the rooster crows is milk the cows and collect the chicken eggs. That has to be done first thing. So in the morning, you've got milk and eggs. And if you soak your stale bread in milk and eggs and then cook it, you've got French toast. People all over the world have had brilliant breakfast tricks like that for generations, right? But say you didn't have ample access to ham or salted fish or dairy or eggs. Well, in that situation, a gummy, slow-cooked porridge was still often going to be your best option. Generally, no staple food was or is cheaper than grain. Porridge was also going to be your best option if you believed what Dr. John Harvey Kellogg believed. He believed that modern flour milling practices popularized in the 19th century were removing much of the nutrition from whole grains, and he was absolutely right about that. Kellogg also believed that meat and dairy were causing all manner of digestive and other ailments in people. He was probably right about that, too. And Kellogg believed that meat and really any food that you enjoyed a whole lot was overstimulating. That all manner of bodily pleasures would drain your body of a finite supply of vital energy that you are born with. And once you are all out of it, you simply die. He thought the key to longevity was to not enjoy anything. I'm not sure if he was right about that. But this was the belief system on which he built his massively popular Battle Creek Sanitarium in Michigan. And he constantly tinkered with bland, whole-grain foods that his patients would be willing and able to choke down. I'll be referring here primarily to the Battling Brothers of Battle Creek, this excellent book by physician and historian Howard Markle at the University of Michigan. In the late 1870s, Kellogg was serving his patients a kind of Zwieback in the morning. Zwieback is German for twice baked. You bake a loaf, you slice it up, and then you bake it again, a lot. The English word for this is rusk. Virtually every people on Earth developed some traditional form of this, mostly for the purpose of extending shelf life. Dehydrated bread won't go moldy as fast. Dr. Kellogg liked Zwieback for a couple of reasons. One, his patients hated eating it, absolutely hated it. And Kellogg is a guy whose scientific, medical, and religious philosophy of pleasure denial really quite often crossed the line into sadism. For a whole video that I made about the philosophical underpinnings of breakfast cereal, there's a link in the description. Another reason Kellogg liked Zwieback is that he believed long, high-temperature cooking made the carbohydrates in grains more digestible. And he wasn't totally wrong about that. Grains are primarily starch. That's what the white fluffy stuff in there is. Starch molecules are huge glucose polymers, giant chains of glucose all linked together. Glucose is the sweet sugar on which your body runs. And when you take in starch, your body has to break it down into individual little glucose molecules before it can burn them as fuel. Now, a lot of Dr. Kellogg's patients at the sanitarium in Michigan had terrible digestive problems. That's why they came to him. They had heartburn, they had constipation, all kinds of bad things. And Kellogg believed that part of what was going on with them was that their bodies were not able to break more complex carbohydrates down into simpler sugars that their body could more easily digest. Kellogg was probably not entirely right about that. But he was definitely right that intense dry heat can break starches down into simpler sugars, like dextrose, which is a kind of glucose. And he therefore called this process dextrinization. And it is why a nice brown roast potato tastes a little sweet, even though the starches in there are too big to link up with the sweetness receptors on your tongue. Some of those starches on the surface there have been broken down, effectively pre-digested, which you could argue is what cooking is all about. Anyway, Kellogg's patients hated the Zwieback. One of them broke her dentures on it. So in 1877, Kellogg baked a multi-grain dough very hard and brown to dextrinize it. Then he ground it up into breadcrumbs so that it would be easier to chew. And he called these little grains of grain granula. Unfortunately, it turned out that a guy in New York State named James Caleb Jackson had invented a very similar product some years earlier, and he also called it granula. So Kellogg tweaked his name to granola. This is what that evolved into, though it was originally a lot closer to something like grape nuts that we have today. Grape in the name refers to grape sugar, which is an old-fashioned name for glucose, which you get by dextrinizing the grains with very intense cooking. Kellogg did this for digestibility, but a side effect of baking the crap out of your grains is you dehydrate them. And you deactivate enzymes, and you certainly destroy any microorganisms. All of this extends shelf life. You get a pre-cooked, shelf-stable breakfast. John Kellogg's little brother, Will Kellogg, was the far more sensible and enterprising of the two. He saw the commercial potential here, and he started mass-producing Sanitarium Foods granola. But it was still like chewing on a mouthful of pebbles. Modern light and crispy breakfast cereals had yet to be born. That would take the kind of industrial ingenuity that also has given us Harry's, the sponsor of today's video. Let's thank them. If you ever wonder how I go from this to the wheat-based health food fad reached a lawyer in Denver, Colorado named Henry Perky. Inspired by his own chronic indigestion, Perky was doing his own wheat experiments. He boiled some grains and then squeezed them through a pair of metal rollers with little grooves in them. Little threads came out the other end, which Perky heaped into pillows and then baked. Shredded wheat. The sugar frosting would come much later. Problem was, Perky did not originally bake them as hard as they are today. They were still a little soft and wet when he baked them, and as a result, they were not as crunchy and they got moldy really fast. Perky's original idea, therefore, was not to mass produce the cereal, but to mass produce the rolling machine so that people can make their own shredded wheat at home, fresh every day. How fun! So Kellogg eventually caught wind of what Perky was doing and the two met up. And Kellogg said to Perky, hey man, what you gotta do is you gotta dextrinize this. You gotta bake the crap out of it so that it's more digestible. Perky did this, which of course also rendered his little biscuits shelf stable. And yeah, shredded wheat became a big business, which the Kellogg brothers tried to buy from Perky in 1894. The historian Howard Markle here is not sure why that deal fell through, but it did. So John and Will Kellogg set about trying to develop a better version of their own. I mean, I love shredded wheat, but also my stress goes right to my jaw. Therefore, I love chewing on really hard, dense things. Not everybody else does. John Kellogg, Will, and John's wife Ella here all participated in the invention that came next, as did several of their employees. Ella hated Will, and John and Will came to hate each other. So, in their respective versions of this history, they all minimized each other's contributions and inflated their own. I'm gonna circumvent this whole sticky wicket by simply referring to everyone involved as they. They first tried boiling grains like Henry Perky did to soften them up, and then they tried pressing them through a strainer to break them apart into little pieces to later be baked hard. This did not work.
You don't look like you're
Way
leveling
too
sailing
sticky.
right now.
Then they tried rolling the boiled
Leveling
grain
what?
out with a rolling.
Leveling sailing.
Yeah, and didn't give me any advice on how to do that.
You might want to try being near water.
There's a little pond in the corners there. I don't see any. No sailing indicators in that little corner. I don't know why. Probably glitched. Thanks, Jagex. Alright, we're just gonna check this per potion. Oh, that was the attack pushing it, right? Oh, whatever. Two more of these, and then I go bed.
No.
Counterpoint. Yes.
Counterpoint. No.
Oops. Take big boats.
Still pretty sticky, but they scraped up these pieces, baked them hard, and then they had a proto-flaked cereal.
No, that's not as bad as it looks.
To make production go a little faster, they then tried passing that boiled grain through a pair of metal rollers, not terribly unlike this pasta machine that I have here. That too proved to be really tricky. It was just way too sticky. It was hard to scrape them out from the bottom of the rollers. Then, for some reason, they tried boiling the grain and then letting it sit for like a day. According to one version of the story, it was because John got called into surgery, so they just had to stop and let the pot sit for a day. Let's try that. You let that sit overnight, and then the next day you have the most disappointing tray of Rice Krispie treats ever. I should say, I am not totally sure that this is the substance that the Kellogg's were working with. They described it as a dough. And in modern English, a dough is a thick, wet mass made with powdered grains, flour, not whole grains. grains. But as we see here in the OED, dough used to have some broader meanings, and Will Kellogg's account of what happened next sure suggests to me that they were working with whole boiled grains. He says they pushed the day-old boiled grain through the rollers, and each wheat berry came out as a perfect individual flake. That sure sounds like whole boiled grains to me. And as they sat for a day after they cooked, their moisture content...
Alright, give me a good one. 75 spiders. Got any tips for me? Okay, great. That's actually going to be so easy. It is okay, great. Alright, but a job for later, for I must die. Good night.
Good night.